we think about our loved ones who have passed, the one thing we want for them is for them to find happiness, to be okay. Lots of questions. The most burning question, are they happy? Second most important question, did they make it over? Are they okay? Did their angels come for them? That's another question. I thought today that I would talk a little bit about the fact that we do believe, I think most of us, I suppose we want to believe, that of course our loved ones in the spirit world, they no longer have the burdens of the physical body. So many times the people that have been sick and of course when they go into the spirit world, when they're taken by their angels into the spirit world, they are relieved of all of that physical pain, all of that physical hurt and stress and struggle. That's a hard one to say. And so we like to believe that, you know, when we go home, as we would call it, as those in the spirit world will call it, when they go home or when we all go home, we like to think that that's going to be great. It's going to be really good for us. It's going to be great for us. And why wouldn't we then be happy? Okay. But so many times, and remember the spirit world sees all, okay? That we believe that, we know that they're with us, we know that they watch us, we know that they watch over us. So first of all, we have that, I guess, a responsibility to live our lives in the most positive way and in the best way we can, because after all, don't we want to make our loved ones in the spirit world, don't we want to make them pleased when they see us? Don't we want to make them happy seeing us living a good life? But so often, of course, we still on this earth plane have to go through our traumas and our difficulties, and there's a lot of pain, there's a lot of sorrow, and there's a lot of anger that we human beings have to deal with and have to go through. And some of us deal with it better than others, but always, 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 when we're going through our lives, our loved ones in the spirit world are a part of our lives. So let me ask you, if you had to stand by and watch while your loved ones were in pain or struggling with life or whatever it was, would you be happy? Would you be able to be happy? Even if you were in a happy place, there is still so much immense sadness when we see our loved ones here on this earth plane struggling and going through awful times. And so of course in those moments we are not happy. But then I think there's an extra layer to this, because you know, when we go into the spirit world, we have to reflect. We need to reflect. It's a requirement that we reflect on who we are, who we were when we were here on this earth plane, and who we have affected by who we were. For instance, the abusive alcoholic father, when he passes to the spirit world, is he able to just shrug it off and say, oh well, that's done and past? Or does he, as I believe, have to see the effects that he had on his child and what those effects are still, as she lives her life trying to deal with the fact that he made her feel less than she was? So he can see, knows that he's responsible for what happened, and knows that he's responsible for a lot of her unhappiness. He also has to live with his regrets, and he has to come to terms with the fact that there's nothing he can do about the past, but how can he put it right now? In those circumstances, and this recently happened, I was talking to a wonderful lady whose father did eventually stop drinking. Yes, the alcoholic father, but during his time as an alcoholic, he created so much pain, so much heartache, so much havoc within his family. And unfortunately, the effects of that were that this wonderful lady that I was talking to she's got doubts about herself. Was I ever enough? Will I ever be enough? Believing that she is never enough. The I can go to my own childhood and then look at my mother, and we're not going to talk too much about her because, well, we're not. But does she ever look back and see how she treated me? I can't speak for my siblings, but does she ever wonder or wish, because seeing the effects that her cruelty and her meanness had on me, is she happy with that? Does she not care about that? Is she fine? Is she sitting on a cloud playing a harp? No, I don't think so. And my father, I know, we've often had conversations since he's passed into the spirit world, and the amount of times he's told me how sorry he was, because, you know, we think that the job of our parents, for instance, the job of the parents is to protect the child. And how many of you watching now, how many of us know that it's not that you necessarily have bad parents, they just failed, and even as parents ourselves, maybe we have failed to protect our children in the way that we should. So we take all of that, some people call it unfinished business, whatever you want to call it. We take all of that because when we pass into the spirit world, we're able to see ourselves clearly. And I think one of the worst parts of passing into the spirit world is that we not only see ourselves as we really are, we're also able to see very clearly the effects of our deeds and our actions while we were here on this earth plane, how they affected other people. And that has to be so hard for so many people, to be able to look back and say, I wish I'd done it this way, or I wish I hadn't been so mean, or I wish I'd have been more patient, and so on. So people in the spirit world, very often, the majority of people in the spirit world have their burdens, have their heartache, have their, you know, they see what their actions did to those they love here on this earth, and some of those actions still have consequences, and their kids, even into their 50s, 60s, even 70s, are still dealing with the consequences of what they had to deal with when they were children. So when we die, are we happy? I don't think so. I think it's so much more complex and complicated than that. However, I don't want you to think that they're all there miserable and wishing that their lives were different and so on, because there are so many things that can make them happy. There are so many ways that they can learn and grow and understand why they were. And there are so many ways that when we pass into the spirit world, we can improve. We improve on ourselves. We improve on who we are. And, you know, sometimes the only burning issue is, for those in the spirit world, how can I get them to know that I'm sorry? How can I make up for this? What can I do? And this is why sometimes when people come to me for consultations, it's so great, because every time someone comes to me for a consultation, you're giving someone in the spirit world the opportunity to, if they have issues, or if they have concerns, or if they know that what they did and how they behaved has damaged us, we are giving them the opportunity to speak about these things. And also, we're giving them the opportunity to tell us how wonderful it is. I don't want you to think, you know, everybody's miserable and everybody's regretting, but are they happy? No. And I often hear people in the spirit world say to me, we're not happy because, you know, my son is going through a divorce and it's an awful one, or my granddaughter's struggling at school, or, you know, what we do and how we live our lives here on this earth makes a huge difference, because the spirit world does see all those people that we love in the spirit world are seeing us and seeing our lives. And if our lives are going good, they're good and they're happy. If our lives are not going so good, of course they're not going to be happy. If when it's my time and I see my grandson struggling, do you think I'm going to be sitting on a cloud playing a harp? What am I going to do? I'm going to try, if I can, one way or another, to give signs, or to give some sort of sign to my grandson that I'm there with him. Maybe I can't fix the issue he's going through, but at least I can let him know that I'm there. And so sometimes when I'm giving consultations, as happened this last week, the consultations are long and they are sometimes so intense. And I had to deal with people in the spirit world who are suffering greatly because they see that their child is suffering greatly as a result of their behavior, as a result of what they did to that child when they were small. Complicated issue, a long issue, much bigger conversation. But I do want to say that this is why it's so important for us when we think about our loved ones in the spirit world and we care about them, we send out loving thoughts to them. It is also important for us, if we can strive to live our best life and if we can strive to be happy, then when, as you all know, with parents, grandparents, whatever, if they are happy, we are happy. In the spirit world, when they see us, if they see us happy, they are happy. Not all of the time, we can't be happy all the time, but I do hear people in the spirit world say to me, we're not happy because we don't like what's going on and what we can see, or I really wish that I could talk about my behavior and explain, or at least say I'm sorry for the harm that I caused or the damage that I caused. So I'm not happy in that respect. But what they do often say to me is, but we are contented here. We are content, and it's a beautiful place, and it's a place of learning, and it's a place of growing. So the next time, you think about your loved ones, it's important to give a smile and to say hello to them and make their day if you can. Give them a little sunshine in their lives, because the burdens that we take with us into the spirit world are not easy ones to carry. So the more we can do to help them to carry those burdens, and what we can do is to smile, to be kind, to be gentle, to be a nice person, we can ease their burdens somewhat. After all, isn't that what we really all want to do? The burning question, are they happy? No, not always, no. Are they contented? Yes, absolutely, I do get a yes. Are they okay? Well, I would say, when you're okay, then they stand a much better chance of being okay too.